Hello, friends, and welcome to my daily diary. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here. What did I do from Monday the 5th of May through Friday the 9th of May of 2025? So I was at my office early on the morning of the 5th, did some various work at my desk before getting picked up for the airport at 9 a.m. Some of the things I dealt with at my desk before getting picked up, and also in the car on the way, and at the gate, on the terminal, and on the plane, via my emails and phone calls, had to do with upcoming meetings on behalf of Priests for Life that I'll be holding with supporters in Naples and in Jacksonville, Florida. The upcoming Faith and Freedom Conference in D.C. Matters relating to the transition of the Pope, and so prayer campaigns that we are doing, as well as plans for coverage of these events and social media and so forth. Updating the text of our thank you letters, approving email blasts, preparing for the leadership meeting, National Pro-Life Leaders meeting that we coordinate, preparing an article for lifenews.com, preparing the Florida March for Life, pro-life spots that we broadcast, preparing my workshop to be presented at the Council for National Policy, and various other matters with the staff, connecting with them about their different projects and activities. So I flew to Pittsburgh. What did I do when I arrived at Pittsburgh? I went over to the Franciscan University of Steubenville. Hadn't been there in a while. Checked into the hotel, which is right next to the campus, and began to participate then in the Catholic Leadership Conference. Now, what I did was to go right away to the Tomb for the Unborn and take a look around on campus a little bit more. Always great to be there at the university. There's so much special spiritual presence there in different ways, and of course memories from the past. I got an honorary doctorate from Steubenville and also gave the commencement speech back in 2002. I greeted various leaders as they arrived, and then we had an evening reception. It was really good to see people like Dr. Pia Di Saleni, who used to work for me back in the days when I was serving in Rome, back in the late 90s, Dr. Scott Hahn, Deacon Harold Burke Sivers, and various other leaders were there, Catholic leaders, ministries that many of you would know about. And these have been friends and colleagues for decades. So I was very warmly welcomed by the Catholic leaders. A lot of them I hadn't seen in a while. And we had a reception, and then we had an afternoon of recollection, actually. It was a prayerful time of a conference, a holy hour, prayer, benediction. That preceded the reception, and that was very good. And a nice dinner there. We heard some remarks from Scott Hahn, and Mary Beth Bonacci was sitting with me, Lisa Wheeler, many other prominent Catholic leaders. So that was a great evening. Then the next day, Tuesday the 6th, the Catholic Leadership Conference continued. It was a full day of meetings, so we started early in the morning. I took a walk through the campus, and that's where I went. I went to that Tomb of the Unborn Child. I went to a number of other spots on campus where I was just recollecting from the past. We had an early mass. We had morning meetings, different talks given by different leaders. In the afternoon, I took a phone call. I had a special conference call with our executive director and with a very key pro-life attorney who is helping us with our late-term abortion project. So I had about a 30-minute call with them. Went back into the different meetings of the conference, met with a lot of leaders individually, like Dr. Janet Smith, for example. She was there as well. We had then a reception and a dinner in the evening, which was also very nice. And I had, right after that evening activity, a national phone call with the regional coordinators of our Silent No More campaign, the different leaders covering different parts of the country. I had to get on that call together with Janet Morana, our executive director, who's co-founded the campaign, and Georgette Forney of Anglicans for Life. So we had that call. Some of the things I had to do on my computer involved the upcoming events in Jacksonville and Naples, approving an action alert, approving newsletters, approving trip plans for upcoming travels. Then Wednesday, May the 7th, began the day actually in my hotel room. After I had breakfast, I had a national television interview with Real America's Voice, of course, speaking about the Pope and the transition to a new Pope, and I had that particular interview in the morning, and then had a ride over to where the conference was taking place on the campus and took part in the final session of this Catholic Leadership Conference. Again, interacting with different leaders. You would know many of them, Janet Bekovic from EWTN, Marcus Grodi, and it was really nice to see everybody, John Martinoni. So we had the final session of the conference. Then I had to check out and then get back to that hotel and grab an Uber and get back over to the airport because I had a flight, mid-afternoon flight, back to Florida, but not back to where I usually go, Orlando, over to the other side of the state, flew into Fort Myers, because then I went right into another conference. Now, this was a conservative leadership conference that I'm a member of, meets 3 times a year, about 500 different leaders. As I was transitioning over there, you know, I always work on the plane, and I had to do email things regarding the Florida March for Life, the Good Shepherd Project, which is our online clergy training, getting topics laid out for that, approval of an action alert, signing on to a pro-life coalition letter, a lot of things focusing on both the defunding of the abortion industry and also chemical abortions. Plans for the 115 Forum leadership meeting that we coordinate, more efforts in regarding to stopping the funding of abortion, and plans for the conference I was attending, certain details being worked out for this conservative leadership conference. When I arrived, and after I checked in to the hotel, I went immediately to a dinner meeting that was convened by one of the nation's experts in the judicial system. The meeting was a small group of leaders, and we were talking about nominees for the courts. So that was a very important discussion. We were speaking of specific individuals and sharing ideas with one another about who some of the best ones would be. So that was a very, very fruitful meeting. I also had a telephone call on the way over there with one of the young pro-life leaders of Florida, making plans for another statewide March for Life for Florida, which we're going to have at the beginning of 2026. So that was Wednesday the 7th. Then Thursday the 8th, eventful day. It was, first of all, full day conference with these conservative leaders, but I started out going over to a restaurant in Naples and meeting together with about a dozen leaders. We had a special room, one of our supporters arranged for this. We had some clergy, we had some pastors, we had some pro-life leaders, and I gave them an update on the activities of Priests for Life and asked for their involvement and support. So that was a good time, couple of hours there, had some side meetings with some of the leaders, and then went over to where the conference was taking place, the hotel where I was staying, and began meeting up with the various leaders attending the conference, a lot of side meetings, and then the overall presentations began. But shortly into those presentations, by now it was like midday, I got a call from our executive director, and she said, "White smoke." So the new pope had been elected, and we, at that point, I went right back up to my room and started getting calls from the media. So as the new pope was announced to the world, Pope Leo XIV, I was on TV, and I was on Charlie Kirk's show, I was on Newsmax, various other outlets were trying to get me to come on as soon as possible as these events were unfolding so that I could give commentary and insight about that. So I did that all during the early part of the afternoon. At 3 o'clock, I had to go back down to where the conference was happening because I was scheduled to be part of a panel to talk about action for defending the unborn. I was on the panel with several other pro-life leaders. If you're on my social media, you would have seen the post about that, and we gave a very practical action segment, action session, I should say, on pro-life strategy. So that happened between 3:30 and 5 o'clock. Once 5 o'clock came, I went right back up to my room because then I had media interviews scheduled for the rest of the evening. So instead of going to the dinner at the conference, I just had a late dinner on my own after I did a bunch of media outlets. For example, Amanda Head and John Solomon with Just the News interviewed me at 6:10. I had another Newsmax interview at 6:20. I had a third Newsmax interview at 7:05, and then at 7:30, an interview on Real America's Voice, Grant Stinchfield. And then at 8:10 p.m., I was privileged to be interviewed by none other than Mayor Rudy Giuliani. He has a podcast, and we were there talking about the Pope as well. And after that interview finished at around 8:30 or so, I went to get a late dinner. That was the 8th of May, the election of the new Pope. Some of the other things I had to deal with in between all that on email had to do with preparation for the pro-life leadership meeting, setting up other media interviews, and also some communications about my possible reinstatement to active ministry as a priest. Not that my ministry isn't active now, and I still am a priest, of course. We are a priest forever. But formal reinstituting that could happen under the new Pope. Friday, May 9th, what did I do? Well, I got up and interviews began at 6:30 in the morning, radio interview, again, all related to the new Pope. Another radio interview at 7:05 a.m. And then after that, I went down to where the conference was happening because there was a breakfast that started at 7:20. And during the course of that big breakfast meeting, again, we're talking about hundreds of leaders gathering together. During the course of all that, we had what are called member reports. So the various group leaders who are members of this overall organization would get up for a few minutes and talk about the latest projects of their organization. So I got up and gave an update about Priests for Life to the gathered leaders. They were very happy to receive it. I was in that meeting from, like I say, from 7:20. We had breakfast, gave the reports. That meeting lasted until about 9:45. Interacted with various leaders in side meetings in the hallways, and then I had to get up to my room again. And then at 10:50, I had another national interview on Real America's Voice, followed by some interaction with staff and some conversations about ongoing projects. Then I went back down, took part in the meetings that were going on, had a lunch meeting, and the whole group had a lunch meeting, that is, and additional side conversations with various people. Caught up with Jenna Ellis, who often has me on her national radio show, and we were there in person having a meeting, talking about strategy and catching up on our activities. After all that, I went back up to, I had a phone call then after that with Tom Glessner, the head of NIFLA, the National Institute of Family and Life Advocates, one of the key pregnancy center networks. We had a strategic call there. And then after all that, I went back up to my room because then I had another interview for 30 minutes on Merit TV, Lindell TV, I should say. And that interview, of course, was about the new Pope, and from 3 to about 3:30. Did some work then in communication with my staff, and then also went back down and taking part in the conference. And there was a 5 o'clock reception. Now, I was on the host committee for this reception. It was for Congressman Byron Donalds. Now, he's serving as a congressman from Florida, but he's also running for governor of Florida. So I know him, have known him for years, and was happy to serve on the host committee of this reception, by which a lot of these other conservative leaders met him and pledged support for his campaign. I had a nice conversation with him and also with his wife. And after that special reception, we went into the bigger reception for the entire conference, and that lasted about an hour. And then we had a dinner after that with some very good speeches. And that concluded the conference with a special after-dinner gathering in the hallway for dessert and more side conversations with all these great leaders. So that is what I did from Monday, May 5th through Friday, May 9th of 2025. Thanks for following these updates. Hope your days are fruitful. Thanks for your support of our work, and we will talk to you soon.
Every life is a gift. Every heartbeat is a miracle. But right now, the most innocent among us are in danger. Priests for Life is on the front lines, speaking truth, offering healing, and building a world where every child is welcomed and loved. Join us in this sacred mission to end abortion. Stand with life. Stand with Priests for Life. Scan the QR code right now and help save unborn babies today. God bless.
So many companies support abortion, but today you can make sure that with every call you make, you are supporting the unborn. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless carrier. They have partnered with Priests for Life and donate a portion of their earnings to our work. We invite you to switch to them at patriotmobile.com/unborn. Keep your number and your phone and get the same coverage you have now, but also get the peace of mind knowing your every call supports life.
Hello, I'm Sam Brownback, and I've worked alongside Father Frank Pavone for many years on the cause of life. He's a true champion, and the Priests for Life have been wonderful champions of this great cause, of the cause of human dignity of every human at every phase of life, from the very first moment of conception until its natural death. The human species, the human person, each and every one are full of dignity, priceless in value, and Priests for Life stand for that. Join their work with them, work alongside them in this battle, this incredible battle, this fantastically important battle for life in the United States. We've got to win this fight. Join them.
Hello, I'm Dr. Alveda King, board member of Priests for Life. More money is being spent in America to kill babies in the womb than to save them. Together, we need to change that, and today I want to invite you to support our work at Priests for Life. Why ours rather than other groups? Because we have a unique team that helps lead in every arena of the fight against abortion, and we activate the churches where you find people who are most likely to get involved in that fight. To awaken a pastor about abortion is to awaken thousands of people he serves. We do not receive church funding or government grants. We rely on you for individual donations. We have a very high evaluation among charities and top security on our donation site, prolifegift.org. You can go there for a one-time gift or to become a monthly donor, or you can call us at 321-500-1000.